Hello, welcome back to Infinite Roleplay. I'm Nelson, and right now I'm talking about the spell surge. There's a discussion on one of these posts in the Tabletop One Shot group that someone asked if casting a spell could be like one of your attacks in the attack action, and the link clarifying that is posted. Casting a spell takes the requisite action, whether it be a bonus, reaction, or action. Doing attacks takes an action. When you have multiple attacks around, you must actually take the attack action. Then you get multiple attacks around. Certain things allow you to consume one of those attacks in lieu of attacking, such as grappling, but those are the exceptions to the rule and not the norm. However, there's some sort of stuff going back and forth about how many spells you can cast in a round, and I'm here to share with you some of the things I've read, some page references if you wish to read your player's handbook and find this information, and a few build concepts for when casting up to 8 magic missiles in a round just isn't enough for you. So let's start off. Casting a spell as a bonus action, right? If you look at page 202 of your player's handbook, once you cast a spell as a bonus action, you cannot cast any other spell except a cantrip when using your action. The way around that is to not cast a spell with your bonus action and go fighter. Action surge was mentioned. So action surge, it allows you to take a whole other action in addition to your normal action and your normal bonus action, if you had an ability to trigger a bonus action. But let's not worry about that. Say if you want to cast your magic missile, you cast it as an action like normal, you action surge, and you cast it again. Because you didn't cast a spell as a bonus action, that circumvents that rule. It may sound a little cheesy, but if you read page 202, I mean, it's right there in black and white. So you can cast, your 2 magic missile spells, cast them at 2 4th level spell slots, you get 12 magic missiles, right? That's yay. Same thing with, Scorching Ray. If you want to cast Scorching Ray at a 4th, 5th level slot, do it twice. Scorching Ray at 5th level. Let's see, 2nd level you get 3, so it's your level plus 1 ray. So at 5th level you get 6, so 12 Scorching Rays. They require attack rolls, but you get 12 of them. If you have action surge, you're already a fighter. But if you only go 2 levels of fighter and the rest into like sorcerer or whatever, to get the quicken spell feature, then if you take the dragon sorcerer route, go a dragon that has fire, gold, red, really doesn't matter, you get to apply your charisma bonus to the damage. Each attack of Scorching Ray is separate, so you get to multiply that and do tons and tons of damage. Hooray for you, right? That's what action surge is good for. Also, action surge, if you're casting spells and you're a fighter, but you're a straight, 100% fighter, you must have gone Eldritch Knight. And Eldritch Knights at 7th level get the War Magic feature. You can read up on the War Magic feature, page 75 of your player's handbook, basically stating if you use your action to cast a cantrip, you get to attack. You get a melee attack as a bonus action. Now, if your cantrip is something like Shocking Grasp, at higher levels, Shocking Grasp can do a maximum of 4d8, 4d8 worth of damage. So 4 times 8 is 64. So 1 hit for 64, than your longsword attack or whatever. Great sword attack if for whatever reason you're using war magic, whatever combos you want. It's interesting, but when you start casting cantrips like bonfire, create bonfire, which is a concentration spell, you cast that and then you start swinging. It's not doing a ton of damage, but you've set up an event for yourself. And if you take the sentinel feat, if somebody's trying to step out of your reach to get away from the bonfire, you can hit them with sentinel, reduce their speed to 0, and freeze them. If you've taken the grappler feat, or if you've taken the grappler feat for its bonuses, or you just want to be a grappler, right? You cast create bonfire, and you take an attack action as a bonus. You can make that a grapple instead, and grapple the opponent into the bonfire. If you take grappler, you can pin them every round. They automatically fail any dex save they're called to make. As long as you maintain your concentration on the bonfire, you no longer need to cast anything. You can then start wailing on them with your fighter abilities. If you cast a cantrip, create bonfire, you use the bonus action to grapple, you action surge to unleash a series of, short sword or whatever attacks, to just jab at them while they're being held in the bonfire. Or, bonus action, grapple, action surge, you then do another opposed grappling check to pin the opponent. The opponent is now pinned. Okay, restrained, automatically fails dex saves. And then you pepper them with whatever attacks you have left. And then the next round, they can't save against your bonfire before they save against your grapple. And you don't need to have a high intelligence to do that. You don't need high saves because you're grappling. When you pin them, they automatically fail. So you can have the lowest save in the world. Doesn't matter. They will not pass. So, that's another good thing with action surge and spellcasting, that you can facilitate that in and of itself for yourself. Quicken spell. Now, you can't cast 3 magic missiles around because a magic missile is a first level spell, and when you cast any spell as a bonus action, you can only cast cantrips for your action. So let's say if you take Quicken spell and you action surge, you could potentially cast Firebolt 3 times. Once as a bonus action, once as a normal action, and once as the action you get from your action surge. Firebolt is a cantrip. At the apex level, Firebolt deals 4d10 damage for every Firebolt. So that's 12d10 worth of fire damage if you land all 3 Firebolts on a single target. Attacks, fighters can get upwards of 4 melee attacks, but with that combo, you hit 3 hard-hitting attacks. It sort of balances out, and if you're attacking enemies at a distance and your fighter is, got a great sword or whatever, you're doing a little something, right? If you only dip into fighter just to get the action surge, that helps you augment your spellcasting ability as a spellcaster. If you also twin the other 2 Firebolts because you have a lot of enemies to attack, you use 1 meta magic per spell, right? The first is Quicken. You cast 1 normal quickened Firebolt. The second Firebolt is twinned, so you fire off 2 Firebolts. 1 at one enemy, the second at a different enemy. Then you action surge and cast Firebolt once more and make that twinned as well. Again, 2 Firebolts, 1 at one enemy, 1 at a different enemy. So at the very least, you can target 2 creatures, one getting 3 firebolts fired at it, the other getting 2 firebolts fired at it. 5 firebolts in that one glorious turn, each capable of up to 4d10 damage. If you go Draconic background with a fire-breathing dragon, each doing up to 4d10 damage plus your charisma modifier. That hits pretty hard. That's pretty nice. If you want to get really silly and take something like Magic Initiate to give yourself access to Eldritch Blast, you can get up to 4 blasts per casting. So if the first blast is Quicken, you cast it as a bonus action. Then as an action, you cast it normally. That's already 8 blasts. If you Action Surge and cast it normally with the action gained from Action Surge, that's another 4. That's 12 attacks, 12 Eldritch Blasts, each doing 1d10 damage. If you dipped into Fighter 2 levels and gained Eldritch Blast by dipping into Warlock, if you go 2 levels of Warlock, you can get Agonizing Blast and Repelling Blast. Meaning anybody that gets close to you, you could send, flying. If you do that whole, super uber Action Surge, Spell Surge turn, and each Eldritch Blast that lands deals 1d10 plus your ability modifier plus your charisma, you're hitting like a truck. You're hitting like a fighter wielding a longsword in 2 hands, or a bastard sword, or a Berdish, anything that does d10 damage. So 12 of them, if you hit 12 Eldritch Blasts, they're all agonizing and all repelling, you could launch an enemy 120 feet backwards. Each Eldritch Blast with Repelling Blast can push a target 10 feet away. When casting your spells like that, 120 feet, if your DM, I haven't found it in the book yet, but if your DM allows pushing to equal falling, if the pushing is far enough and they hit a solid object with strategic positioning, right? Could you imagine launching someone 120 feet into a wall? So you do all the damage with your Eldritch Blast plus an additional 12d6 damage for being launched. That's pretty awesome. You're not casting 3 fireballs a turn, but with some simple thought and tactics behind it, your cantrips are just insane. Really are insane. And that's what I think about it. That's what I think about the Spell Surge. Because that's what it is. You're just an overwhelming force of magical power. And that's the power of using a spell cast as a bonus action. There's other things you can do with it, but we'll leave that for another time. Until that time, I'm Nelson. This has been Infinite Roleplay. Peace.